heathens, and welcome to my channel. I am Beauty Heathen, and my channel is dedicated to the exploration of paganism through the medium of cosmetics. If you enjoy this subject matter or find my content of interest, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and set the bell to all to be notified of when I upload new videos. In recognition of the holiday beginning on Sunday, with the Year of the White Metal Rat, today's episode will be dedicated to discussing the subject of the Lunar New Year. Before I get right into the subject matter, as usual, let me specify that the cosmetic practice head has a layer of hairspray, as always, then followed up with LA Girl Pro Coverage HD High Definition Foundation in the color Porcelain, and then finally set with the Becca Hydra Mist setting powder. The LA Girl foundations I bought at Ulta. The Becca Hydra Mist setting powder I got in a BoxyCharm, which is why I'm using it. After this, I will likely be making my own, however, but that's besides the point. Oh, also the eyes have been prepared with the NYX Professional Makeup White Eyeshadow Base. And usual disclaimer, do not go based off of these videos with how cosmetics will react to human skin. These faces do not have normal texture and human skin texture. Because of that, some cosmetics may not work as they normally would if you were applying them to a person. So, as always, I am not a review channel. My application of makeup is novice level at best, and do not use my videos as any kind of display of how cosmetics will react and whether or not they'll work on a normal person. So now the disclaimers are out of the way. Sorry, I just had to clear off some of the settings powder because it gets everywhere. The Chinese tradition of celebrating the New Year began anywhere between 2,000 and 4,000 years ago. There are varying there's varying information with regards to that, and has evolved into a holiday that combines rituals from Buddhism, Taoism, with a D, not T, so it's Daoism, and Confucianism. And I'm going to use the set from the Ulta box that I have next to me, and I'm going to do a little bit on the face first, just trying to sort out my colors. As usual, I'm not going into this with any sort of set plan, so we're winging it. It's also known as the Spring Festival and is celebrated by Chinese communities throughout the world at the end of winter. I know it's not the end of winter for us here in the United States, but many countries have a much shorter winter than us. Let's see, what do we want to do? I'm going to try the matte nude pink blush. See how that works on the face. I didn't want to go with anything too bright, and this is a little bit bright for what I'm thinking. So the Lunar New Year is a major, major holiday in China, especially among the Han, Tibetan, and Mongolian people. Similar to Lunar New Year celebrations in China's neighbors, including Korea, Vietnam, and Mongolia. It is also celebrated worldwide in regions and countries with significant overseas Chinese or Sinophone populations, including Singapore, as well as many in North America and Europe. Just trying to see. Yeah, that's showing up pretty well. Lunar New Year is associated with several myths and customs. The festival was traditionally a time to honor deities as well as ancestors. So when we think about China today being largely atheistic, some traditions and belief systems have still maintained despite that. Within China, regional customs and traditions concerning the celebration of the New Year vary widely, and the evening preceding New Year's Day is frequently regarded as an occasion for families to gather for the annual reunion dinner. It is also traditional for every family to thoroughly clean their house in order to sweep away any ill fortune and make way for the incoming good luck. This is also something that we see in other pagan traditions when it comes to New Year representation. Another custom is the decoration of the windows and doors with red paper cutouts and couplets. The best way I can kind of maybe put that in maybe some sort of a relatable thought for these cutouts is, think of how we do paper cutouts for snowflakes and such, but instead of snowflakes they would do designs or calligraphy. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And they will also take long, very long pieces of paper, so figure like this, very thin, and they will write couplets on them, which are lines of poems. Popular themes among the paper cuts and couplets include those of good fortune or happiness, wealth, and longevity. Other activities include lighting firecrackers, of course, because firecrackers originated in China. So that would make sense, right? And giving money in red paper envelopes. For the northern regions of China, dumplings are featured prominently in meals celebrating the festival. It often serves as the first meal of the year. Ooh, I went too far. Not the first time I've done that. First meal of the year, either at midnight or as breakfast of the first day. Let's see, what do I want to do for a highlight? Let's see. Let's try this pink highlight. As always, I know I'm going out of order. I probably should have started with the contour first. I keep trying to make a mental note to start with that. But I am not a perfect person, and I'm still learning, so bear with me and my newbie dim-wittedness. Let's see. Yeah, that's starting to show up a bit. This is not, well, at least wise with regards to these heads, an immediate blinding highlight, but it's able to be built up. And I'll ask, if you want me to list what the products are that I'm using, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will do my best to backtrack and go through all of my videos and put that information there so that if you are interested in these products, you can find them and purchase them yourselves. Now, in our culture in the United States, especially if you are not from a Chinese family, you may not know this upcoming information. Because all we hear when the Lunar New Year comes is, oh, it's the year of the dog, it's the year of the pig, it's the year of the rat. But what you may not be aware of is along the 12-year cycle of animal zodiac. So there are 12 animals in that zodiac, so that goes through a 12-year cycle. There is also a 10-year cycle coinciding with this of heavenly stems. Each of the 10 heavenly stems is associated with one of the 5 elements of astrology, namely wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. On top of that, the elements are rotated every 2 years, while a yin and yang association alternates every year. So this year we have the year of the white metal rat. In Chinese astrology, this year is a yang year, which, if you know anything about, well, think of it exactly like a yin and a yang, but it also translates into different kinds of energy. Yang tends to be very energetic, very ramped up, whereas yin energy tends to be calmer, tends to be gentler. So when I say that this is a yang year, it's a year with a lot of power and a lot of energy and a lot of movement to it. So I don't know if that kind of makes sense, but to give another example, the elements are thus distinguished, like one year will be yang wood, the next year will be yin wood, yang fire, yin fire, and so forth. These produce a combined cycle, I know it's a lot, that technically repeats every 60 years. So in the span of a 60-year time period, no 2 years will be the same until you reach that 60th year. According to tales and legends, the beginning of the Chinese New Year started with a mythical beast called the Nian. And again, if I mispronounce anything, please do forgive me. I mean no offense. I just am doing the best that I can. During the spring festival, the Nian would eat villagers, especially children, in the middle of the night. One year, all the villagers decided to go and hide from the beast. An old man named Yan Wang appeared before the villagers went into hiding and said that he would stay the night and would get revenge on the Nian. All the villagers thought he was insane. the old man put red papers up and set off firecrackers. And the day after, the villagers came back to their town and saw that nothing had been destroyed. They assumed that the old man was a deity who came to save them. The villagers then understood that Yan Wang had discovered that the Nyan was afraid of the color red and loud noises. So the tradition grew that when the New Year was approaching, the villagers would wear red clothes, hang red lanterns, and red scrolls. A little slip of the tongue. It's been a long day, forgive me. And red spring scrolls on windows and doors. People also used firecrackers to frighten away the Nyan. From then on, the Nyan never came back to the village again. The Nyan was eventually captured by Hong Qin Lao Tzu, an ancient Taoist monk, and after that time period, the Nyan is reported to have retreated to a nearby mountain, the name of which has long been lost over the years. That is the folklore behind the many, many traditions and colors affiliated with the Chinese New Year. And forgive me, I need something to drink. It's dry in here. I'm sure I also inhaled quite a bit of Becca Hydromus setting powder, so I'm sure that didn't help with that. I'm still trying to decide what to do with the head besides what I've done, so. On with that. Well, the Spring Festival has since become the official name of the Chinese New Year. The Chinese people outside mainland China still prefer to call it the Lunar New Year. Chinese New Year is a popular and convenient translation for people of non-Chinese cultural backgrounds, along with the Han Chinese in and outside China, as well as 29 of the 55 ethnic minority groups in China who also celebrate the Chinese New Year, including Korea, Brunei, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. They all celebrate it as an official festival. Let's see. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of traditions that coincide with this holiday. They have different traditions for most of the days surrounding the Lunar New Year. The Lunar New Year does not consist of one singular day. There's many days of festivities and many days of different transitions, but as previously mentioned, it occurs in cycles, and where I don't want this one specific video to become too lengthy, as I'm sure you guys will lose interest, and I will be sitting here all night going over the individual minutiae of these traditions. I'm going to primarily stick to the symbolism of this year's Lunar New Year symbols. As you have likely heard, the Lunar New Year, and as I've said before, goes in cycles. And the cycle always begins with the year of the rat. Okay? Let's see. I think I need to figure out what I'm doing with these eyes and such. And I'm going to try to stick with colors specifically considered fortuitous to this year, because in Chinese astrology there will be various colors, numbers and such that are either considered lucky or unlucky. And this might be a good palette to use. Don't fall. One of my palettes was starting to slide. You can also use So Jaded. Yeah, I'll go between the Storybook Cosmetics. I think this is the Briar Rose palette and the So Jaded palette. There are lucky numbers and lucky plants, lucky colors, and then there's unlucky as well. This specific year, the lucky numbers are 2, 3, 6, and 8. You are supposed to avoid the colors 4, 5, and 9. Okay? Lucky flower, lily of each and every species, is considered lucky and fortuitous this year. And lucky colors, which is why I wanted to get to this part before I started a makeup look, so you kind of understood my mentality, include gold, blue, and green, and you are to avoid yellow and brown. So herein lies the conundrum as to what the heck I'm putting on this head and what colors I should be avoiding. Let me see if there's a good base color in the So Jaded palette that I can use that is not yellow or brown. I think I'll put down a layer of My Precious, which is sort of like a pale pink or shell color from the So Jaded palette. Just trying to get any excess powder off while I try to sweep on this color. This tends to be one of the best palettes for me to use with these heads because the colors and pigment generally always shows up really well. But like I said, this is a very pale shell type color, so of course it's not going to be bright and vibrant on the eye right now. But you should see some pigment at least, although it's likely blending in somewhat to the foundation color. But, hang on a sec. What I get for changing screens, then I try to go back to my script, and it's not there, of course. There we go. So, as I was starting to say, every cycle begins with the year of the rat. And there is actually a tale of folklore that coincides with how this came to be and with how the order of the animals was selected. And that story is as follows. One legend says that the Jade Emperor, and funny enough, I dipped into the color jade without even realizing what I was dipping into, needed to choose 12 animals as palace guards. And the cat asked his neighbor, the rat, to help him sign up. The rat forgot to remind him, which is why they later became mortal enemies. At the palace, the ox was first in line, but the rat secretly climbed onto the ox's back and jumped in front of him. Tiger and Dragon thought it was unfair, but they could only settle behind the ox. The rabbit found it unfair too. He wanted to race with Dragon and succeeded. This angered Dog, who bit Rabbit in a fit and was sent to the back as punishment. The snake, the horse, the goat, the monkey, and the rooster fought amongst themselves as well. And the pig came too late, after everything was finally settled and could only be the last. And this actually reminds me, if any of you are interested in or enjoy manga or anime, there's actually an anime about this subject. Actually, let me try to look that up real quick so I can give you the name. It's fairly accurate to the lore. Behind the Chinese New Year. Chinese Zodiac. I have it, I just don't remember the name of it. It's a really popular one, if I can bring up the... Alright. This is listing 5. Oh, I know. It just hit me. Fruits Basket is the anime and the manga. And ironically, it's not on that list. Unfortunately, the company in the United States that was translating the manga into English, or had, went out of business. So I don't know if somebody else has taken over the license to translate it or again and re-release it, but I do know that the anime is widely available. I think that company that has it is Funimation, but it could be them or Viz Media. It's really cute, it's really family friendly, and if this is a subject matter that you would like to sort of learn more about, it is something that I recommend, because you do learn a lot. And I know some people watching this are likely wondering why I'm recommending a children's cartoon to adults, but unlike American cartoons necessarily, Japanese anime, or I should really say Asian at this point, because while the term anime itself is Japanese, there are many forms now, can be pretty much about any subject and can be for people who run the full gamut from very young age to very old age, and they have pretty much every single subject on the face of the planet. So if you're interested in something, take a look to see if there's an anime. I once found that there's a manga in Japan. Unfortunately, they haven't translated it here to my knowledge, called Addicted to Curry, for an example, where they explore every single form of curry throughout the world. That's just giving you one example. And at the end of each chapter, they included a recipe. I really wish that they would translate that one here. It was kind of cute. But anyway, I digress. But that folklore is primarily how the order of the animals in the 12-year cycle came to be. And of course, it's only a story, and funny enough, when this folklore came to be, cats didn't even exist in China when the zodiac animals first came about. So, let's see. What can I do? Does that color, this one have a... Alright, so if it's not this one and it's not that one, I will try to get this one to work. I've tried to get the Revolution color book to work before, and it was kind of picky, but I'm looking for a pale blue color and one that is a matte, and neither one of those had that, so let's try this one. Probably gonna combine this one and this one together. And bring that up on the lid a bit. Try to blend them together a bit so that there's no harsh line. And of course, because this isn't human skin in doing so, I'm managing to remove some of the eye primer and making it into a royal mess. Yeah, see, some of it's coming off. Let's see. Let's clean off the brush a little bit. I'll try to do a little bit of the same on the other eye, and then I think I'm likely going to end up using my finger to apply any metallics to the eye after this, because the brush is kind of taking off the colors and everything that I'd laid down before as I try to blend it out. Yeah, it's wanting to take stuff off, and that's not going to make for anything kind of pretty. Let's see, let me just try to brush that away a bit. When in doubt, use your fingers. But people born in the year of the rat are thought to like saving and collecting. They never have hard times financially and are thought to live organized lives. I think I'm going to try the color Fairies. I have to say that the metallics in the which palette is this? Storybook Cosmetics palette are very creamy, so if you are like me and end up having to resort to your fingers, it doesn't feel at all chunky. But I need to cut my fingernails because now I'm scratching off the color. I'm having one of those oh so wonderful nights where nothing is quite wanting to go on how I'm trying to get it to. I'm going to do a green blue look. That worked a bit. Of course you can't really see what I put under it, but it's gonna be one of those days. But people who were born in the year of the rat, for lack of a better way to put it, and again, don't take this personally if you are someone who was born in a year of the rat. This is just according to the belief system behind it. According to the lore, they tend to be a bit miserly, and it's said that if a rat, you know that if you receive any form of gift from someone born in a year of the rat, that they tend to think very highly of you because they usually don't like to open their wallet for others. Again, this is the lore, don't come at me. They are said to not really look for praise or recognition, and they tend to be very sensitive and know when there is trouble. When they do take risks, they're generally unsuccessful. Right, note to self, after I make these videos and record them, cut thy fingernails. Okay. Not too bad, not exactly at all what I was kind of trying to go for, but that's alright. Trying to get some of this off my finger. The rat is considered to be a yang creature, meaning one that is of high energy. And also coinciding with a year of the rat, the Chinese astrology also narrows down animals based off of month, day, and even time of day. So when it comes to rats, their hours are generally between 11 p.m. at night and 1 a.m. when rats are at the height of their activity, and people began to associate rats with that hour. Let's see. I'm going to try to put a little, I don't know, topaz has a little bit of brown in it. Let me try to find a gold color. Aha. What in the heck? I just had something black come off on my fingers and I have absolutely zero idea where it came from. Okay. I don't know if it came from the palette, if I accidentally stuck my finger in the black color, or what. So I'm just trying to clean it off a bit. So as not to transfer the black onto the head, if I can prevent it. This is a Violet Voss Essentials palette. This also came in my BoxyCharm, and I'm going to dip my finger into this gold color. Now I don't know how this is going to react on my finger because I've only ever tried to apply it with a brush, so we're about to find out. And it looks like it's a bit of a metallic. I'm just trying to add a little touch of gold. Of course, in the folklore, rats tend to steal food, which can be interpreted as the household being wealthy and having surpluses because of their fast reproduction rate. Some also pray to rats for children in Chinese culture. According to Chinese zodiac, people born in years of the rat best match with people who are born in the year of the ox. Outside of the ox, the next best groups belong to people born in the year of the monkey and people born in the year of the dragon, and are said to be completely incompatible with people born in the year of the horse. So that's just to try to give you some sort of idea as to that information. And let me find a lip color once I get this gold off my finger. Which, being a metallic, now it's covered in glitter. I can hear Smoky Glow in her, but I love glitter. And then I can hear Nady from Poplux screaming his hatred of glitter. So I tend to side more with Nady. Shh. Alright, so for the lips, because of the colors associated with this, I'm just going to go for the gold. I think it wouldn't be a bad color. This is the J-Cat lip. It's kind of like a lipstick palette. And I think it's a fitting color considering the subject matter, and it doesn't look bad with the eye makeup. And I'll make the excuse that because brown is unlucky for the year of the rat, that's why I didn't try to do any sort of contouring. Y'all can tell me I'm full of it in the comments, it's fine. Come on. I have no idea if this is going to fully show up or not. I know the skin tone of this head tends to be pretty pale, although I have successfully used this color before, but I'm pretty sure I'd used it on the medium or dark skin tone heads that I have. So hopefully it shows up a bit. Worst case scenario, at least I tried, right? Yeah, it's showing up a bit. Anyway, here's the look for the day. Not bad. Not the best I've done, but certainly not the worst. And I hope this video has imparted some information about the Lunar New Year. I know this has been a bit of a long one, but I hope to cover other years and more traditions as time goes on. I didn't want to turn this into a multi-hour video, but I do hope this has helped give some sort of insight into the Lunar New Year, its heritage, and the meaning behind it. And for fun, I am going to include a link below to help you find your own Chinese zodiac that coincides with your full birthday and time of birth in the comment section under this video. So be sure to check out that link. If you know your, I think they also requested the latitude of where you were born, so if you have that, go ahead and put that in, but they said it was optional. But if you have your date of birth and your time of birth in military time, so if you were born at 11 o'clock at night, it's 2300 hours to try to help. Go ahead and put that information in the link below, and it will tell you based off your day, the month, day, year, and time you were born, which Chinese zodiacs coincide with all of that information. So if you feel comfortable in sharing that information, go ahead and comment it down below. If you don't, that's fine too. But if you enjoyed this video and wish to have more like it, please be sure to let me know in the comments. Don't be shy, I'm not gonna bite. And before you go, please don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell so that you stay tuned for new videos. And with all of that said, until next time, I wish you brightest blessings and blessed be.